Hey everyone, my name is Bailey and I have been a member of this group, I think, since it started, and I have been watching Trevor and Amy and their family and their videos for about the last 9 months as I prepared for my first ever Disneyland trip. I live in Kansas with my husband and my 2 kids. My son, who is almost 3, this is his before I turn 3 trip to Disneyland. He'll turn 3 in December. And then my daughter is 9 months. And we also took my husband's mom with us to help us with the kids, which highly recommend having a third adult, especially if you're a first timer with small people. It helped us make the most of our trip. We flew from Wichita, Kansas to John Wayne Airport on Sunday, October 6th. And we stayed at the Grand Legacy at the park. I booked that before I watched Trevor's video reviewing it, but we ended up having a great experience. It was perfect for our needs and very close to the park, which was a high priority for us. I am not trying to be an influencer, as you can tell by the format of this video, but I did want to share with this group some of the lessons that I learned and things that I took away. So just to give you a little background, we did a 3-day park ticket with no hopper, but with the Lightning Lane multi-pass experience all 3 days. And a goal of mine with having small children was to wait in lines as little as possible because especially my son doesn't really handle it very well. He did great, but the longer we'd have to wait, the more exhausted we would be, I had a feeling. So we did DCA on Monday, October 7th, and we did Disneyland on Tuesday and Wednesday, October 8th and 9th, and then we flew home on Thursday, the 10th. I did book a reservation on Sunday night before we had park tickets in downtown Disney, and that was an Oogie Boogie night. We had a reservation about 5 o'clock, and I think we got in line to go through security at like 4:40 because we basically just got off the plane and dropped off our stuff and then ran over there. And the line was insane. And I don't know if this is typical of downtown Disney on the weekends. I had read on Reddit that was maybe more common on the weekends, that it would be really crowded. So if you are going to downtown Disney on the weekend, you may just be aware of that it may be busier than normal. We ate at Naples Italian Ristorante E Bar, I think is what the official word. It was great. Enjoyed it, had a great meal, and then just enjoyed the live music and some of the shopping before we went into the park. My goal was to kind of get some of our souvenirs there so that we didn't waste park time doing too much shopping. Another thing that I wanted to note is if you are planning outfits and you find, particularly for adults, that there are Minnie or Mickey shirts at Target or Walmart in your local stores, everybody is going to be wearing this, which is totally fine as long as you're not uncomfortable wearing the same shirt as somebody else. I had a Minnie Mouse shirt that I got at Target, and I had considered 2 other Mickey Mouse shirts, one at Target and one at Walmart, and I saw those shirts like 40 times a day, and I'm not exaggerating, it was probably 40 times a day. So just be aware of that. I also wanted to say that PhotoPass is awesome. I tried to find some information about it beforehand, but I guess the reason there's not that much content out about it is because it's not that difficult to figure out. You basically just have a QR code on your phone. You show that, they take your picture. Well, actually, you take your picture first and then they do your QR code, and it all goes in your app. It also, there's ways to get codes from rides. You just take a picture of yourself after the ride and it has a code that you enter, and then those photos from the rides, certain rides, go into your app as well. And we just thought that the photography was really nice, and it was a great way to get a full family photo all at once and very high quality. One thing that I saw happen a lot were husbands and wives, particularly, arguing over where they were going to go next, what lightning lane they were going to book. And it just made me really appreciate that in our group, they let me be the alpha, I guess, and I made the decisions and nobody questioned it or argued it. And I don't want to sound like a dictator, but I think that benefited us all, because when there's multiple apps and multiple people trying to manage the decision making, one person has this opinion, one person has this opinion, and I was seeing like a husband was booking something and the wife was like, why did you book that now? We have to wait 2 hours, blah, blah, blah. And it just seemed to add unwanted stress that I don't think anybody's looking for on their vacation. So if you have a strong opinion about it, then you should just be the designated person and figure it out, because it's all going to work out. That's the other thing, is no matter how you do it, you know, what your pattern is and what your goals are, it's going to work out and you're going to have a great time. I did get the Lightning Lane multi-pass for everyone in our group. So myself, my husband, and my mother-in-law. The kids did not need it because they're all under 3. And at one point, I believe on our first day, I had messed it up because I had booked something just for my husband and I that my mother-in-law wasn't going to go on. And then it messed up the timing. So I'm not really sure what I did there, but it's just something to be aware if you're going to book for half the people in your group versus not. Ultimately, I just started booking everything for her and then burning her pass and scanning in, because she wasn't planning on going on some of the bigger rides that the kids couldn't go on, just because she doesn't prefer those. I am nursing my 9-month-old and did use the baby care centers in both parks, and I do recommend those. One thing I would say is that they do ask you when you come in to kind of state your purpose. And I don't know why that just caught me off guard the first time. Like, I felt like I was in trouble. But then you just kind of get used to it and you say, you know, I'm here for nursing and then I would like to change my baby. And then they show you the ropes and what you need to do. I did nurse throughout the park. Just found a bench somewhere and there were lots of mothers doing that and it didn't seem like it was any big deal. So that's just based on your comfort level, something that I wasn't sure how would go as a first timer and a first time going while nursing, but it really seemed to be no problem whatsoever. My daughter doesn't really get distracted easily when it's time to eat, so that's fortunate. I think the thing that I've taken away from these videos and something that I put into practice was, if you see something that has a crazy long line, you know, going for the crowd update videos and then putting those into practical use and being like, oh, well, I know that looks really crazy, then we just would skip it and come back to it later. We did this several times. One of the situations being the Jungle Cruise, it had both sides on the upper deck full, and I was like, absolutely not. I am not waiting in a 45, 50-minute line for this. And we gave it some time, went and did something else, came back, and we almost walked right on. It was probably less than 10 minutes. So that ended up paying off. Another one that we did like that was Storybook Land canal boats. The line looked really crazy, and then we went and did something else, came back, almost got right on. And then the Finding Nemo subs was the big win, because we waited until right after the projections on a Wednesday night, and we walked right on, no stops. It was probably, you know, almost 10 o'clock. And the park was really winding down on a Wednesday, and that worked out great for our family. I know Trevor says this a lot, but mobile order is your friend. Like I said, a high priority of mine was waiting in lines as little as possible. And so I mobile ordered almost every meal that we had, with the exception of places that didn't take mobile order, like Plaza Inn, which still, there's not really a waiting situation for that. You're just waiting for the host to let you in. And that was a real lifesaver. And I would just let everybody go through the app and pick what they wanted. I also found the kids' meals to be really helpful for my son. My daughter doesn't really need much in terms of solid foods right now, but those were a great fit for him. And then I really had wanted to see the Halloween cavalcade and the Happiest March Down Main Street from the Disneyland band with the characters, but I hadn't made it a high priority. We happened upon both of those right at the right time, where we didn't need to camp out for them, and we got really good spots. Just we happened to be walking by and I heard the music and saw that they were coming, and I was like, oh, we got to do this. And so that was something I really appreciated. In the 3 days with the small people that we had, we made a lot of our time. The only thing that we didn't get to do in DCA that I really wanted to do was Incredicoaster, and that's because it went down for probably 5 hours in the afternoon while we were waiting standby, and we just never got around to doing it again. And then when it did come back up, the line was insane because everybody was trying to get it in. And then in Disneyland, I really felt like we got to do everything we wanted to do. If I were to do it again, of course, I would prefer to do 5 days because that just sounds awesome. But I would definitely do 4 days with a park hopper, just to have a little bit more time on everything. But overall, great trip. Thank you to everybody in this group, and thank you to Trevor and Amy and family for all your tips, because it made our first time experience great.